Today, I want to talk about criticism. As a creator, you're putting yourself in the spotlight. A lot of influencers are, become public figures, and they put themselves up in a position to get criticized by everyday people, maybe even friends and family, or it could be just strangers. So I want to talk about how to deal with criticism as a creator, because you're going to probably get, put under that little microscope in so many different areas. Your followers can criticize certain brand partnerships you do, or maybe a brand that you're working with may have something to say about the content that you did for them. Or maybe a random follower says, oh, you've changed, ever since XYZ. I've heard that one before. You'll maybe get criticized publicly on content or your values or what you say or what you don't say. So, it's kind of something that's interesting that we're seeing more of. This video is different than trolls. I did a video all about internet trolls. That to me is different. Like, we all know what an internet troll is. And that video was more about strategies, like what to do with like specific hateful comments. This video is more about like how to just deal with criticism in general, but as a creator with that creator perspective. So the first thing we want to understand is that there's constructive criticism and destructive criticism, right? And constructive criticism is that feedback that's, oftentimes compassionate. It's specific. It has like, feedback for you and actions you can take to fix it. And it's also usually from a person or, from someone you trust or value their opinion, right? You feel like that person is entitled to make feedback on your work because they too are in similar positions or have experience in that space, right? That's usually that constructive criticism that helps us grow, helps us be better, helps us, look at ourselves in the mirror and see what it is that we need to grow on. And then there's the other type of criticism that isn't really helpful. That's just people trying to bring you down. And again, not in that troll language, but just kind of, again, people that maybe your followers or friends and family that really just don't understand where you're coming from. So today I want to talk about strategies that you guys can implement as you embark on your influencer creator journey, because you will be subject to criticism, right? As just by nature of the beast and putting yourself out there. The biggest thing I always think of too, when people just take it a little bit too far, is hurt people. So a lot of times the criticism has nothing to do with you and all to do with the person that it's coming from. Okay, so let's talk about brand partnerships. If your followers start saying, criticizing you for certain brands or maybe feeling a certain way. I remember this girl, one of the creators in our program, started really making money. Like, I'm talking serious money working with brands. And now her followers were like, oh, like now you're big time. You work with brands now, like saying kind of things that she was like, what are they saying? Like, she was feeling a certain way, a little bit insecure. What I like to say to that is that as a creator, you need to make money, and brand deals is one of the biggest ways creators are monetizing. So you may want to just address any concerns with your audience head on, like preventatively, allow them into the process. Be like, guys, I'm thinking of partnering with this brand. I really love them. I want to try them. Have you guys heard of them? Like, kind of involving them in that process. I think that's a nice way to kind of prevent any sort of criticism because they're a part of it. Remember, you can't always prevent criticism too, because some people are just going to have something to say. But again, you can include them, and then you can just align with brands that feel good. You know in your heart if a brand doesn't feel good, and if it doesn't match with your audience, or you think it's going to tarnish the trust you've built with them. Don't take those partnerships on, because then you're just opening yourself up for it, and you're being inauthentic in the type of things that you're promoting, which will have serious repercussions for you as a creator down the road. So stay away from that. But when it comes to brand partnerships, align with those good brands so that at the end of the day, even if someone has something to say, you yourself feel good about it. You feel good about the partnership. You believe in the brand. You're happy to partner with them. That is what matters, that you can like sleep at night because you feel that this is a good, proper brand that you would be proud to represent. Now, someone may also come and criticize your work. Now, let's just say it's from a brand. They hired you, right, to create something, and maybe they are not so smooth in their feedback. This is kind of one of those spaces that, again, it's personality driven. And if they're entitled to a round of revisions, because in the contract it says they get one round of revisions, it may sting to hear that they don't like your work, but this is where I say don't take it personal. One round of revisions is what they get. So whether they say it with a smile on their face, hey and kind, or they're super hard and blunt, it's your business. It's in the contract and they get those revisions. It's also something for you to consider if you want to work with them again, right? You may not want to work with those type of people that just speak in a certain way. Also consider, who is this feedback coming from, right? They're a paying client, they're a paying customer. So, maybe you kind of have to soften up into your approach versus obviously if it's someone who gives you something gifted and then they're super rude, you're like, whoa, 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 that's a different conversation. So always consider, where's this feedback coming from, so that you can kind of like assess whether it's from, paying client or just like a random person. Also getting feedback from someone you trust and respect, right? People will book one-on-one sessions with me just for that, to kind of get my feedback. You may go to someone that you love and respect. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes creators will go like friends and family that are not creators, they don't really know what they're talking about. And I don't say that because they don't love you and they don't want to see, sometimes they'll be like, yeah, it's great, post it. Or no, that's really bad. What are you doing? But they're not in the industry. So your always best bet is to go to other people that are in similar spaces to you, trying to do what you do, so that you can ask people that are also, you have good friendships with, but also do what you do, because it's different asking like your friends and fam, but they don't get what you do. So you may not be getting that feedback that you're really looking for. Now, if you are interested in meeting other creators and you want to work with brands, pitch to brands, all of that, we do have a membership community, but it's only open to creators that are in our Pitching to Brands Master Course. So if you've already enrolled into the Pitching to Brands Master Course, you're already one of our students, then you should definitely email us to see if you qualify to enter our membership community, the Inner Circle, so that you can vibe and meet other creators that you can be working with on a daily basis. Now, the worst type of criticism is obviously you as a person. When people, maybe criticize what you stand for, or what you said or what you didn't, or your ethics. This is where I also say like boundaries need to exist on social. I created a video about boundaries recently. You also need to know that at the end of the day, as long as you're being true to yourself, to your audience, to the audience that you've built, don't worry about them, because they are paying your bills. I can't tell you the amount of times that people will hate in the beginning or criticize in the beginning. Those are the same people that come back and ask you how you did it. I have seen this happen so much, you guys. Again, I work with hundreds and thousands of creators, and they will be like, oh my God, the girl who used to just kind of be like, oh, your little blog or your little Instagram, same girl's the one asking me how I did it, right? So that just comes with being true to yourself, listening to yourself, your gut, learning how to hone in on that intuition. It's such an important business intuition, that entrepreneur intuition, so that when people say things, I always think to myself, it is easy to criticize when you yourself are not doing it. And if you're not in their arena, right, there's that really beautiful quote about not really taking advice from people who don't take the risks on themselves. Like, why would I listen to someone who doesn't even necessarily take those same risks for themselves, right? It's easy to say it from the sidelines. I want to hear it from people who are actually doing it. So remind yourself of that when you do receive criticism. Who is it coming from, right? And why is it bothering? Why is this triggering me so much? And I think when you reflect on the why, that's not going to affect me, because again, I know my value, I know my education, I know my work experience, I know all the things that I do to bring value to people. So I'm not going to listen to that because I just don't think it's true. People oftentimes tend to get hurt by the things they themselves may think is true. So reflect on it, process the criticism, and ask yourself, why does it feel weird? Why does it hurt? And then again, before responding or before ever kind of like, getting back to people, you don't have to get back to people, by the way, with criticism. You can just brush it off and not have anything to do. You can still process. But when you do decide, if you do decide to respond, make sure you do it in a calm, professional manner, because everything you do online is documented and stays with you. So food for thought. All right, guys, let me know if this was helpful. Not sure how you guys handle criticism. If you have any other tips for the creators, make sure to leave them in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.